Hello and welcome to Odds Now's YouTube channel. We're back. It's day 4 of the European Championships. The action is fully up and running now, and we've got another daily preview coming your way. It's me, Matt Hill, with Brad Walker delivering the verdicts on today's 3 games, and it's Group E and D taking priority today. I say E first because we have their doubleheader at 2 and 5 p.m. Before we have France, the joint tournament favourites, making their bow tonight against Austria. But first, we have Group E, and we start off with Romania versus Ukraine. An interesting looking game. Ukraine probably look to me like the second best team in this group behind Belgium. Romania will hope to prove that theory wrong. Brad, this is an interesting affair. The money is coming for Ukraine in the market, and I'm guessing that's the team you want to be with here, given everything we've discussed previously here on the channel.
Yeah, I think they're the obvious pick out of the two, aren't they? They'll be looking for a positive start, of course, as all teams are in their opening match of the tournament. The only injury concern from either of these two sides coming into this match is the Ukraine's left back, Vitaly Mykolenko, picked up a knock to his ankle in a 4-0 win over Moldova last week. And so he's touch and go, I think, on whether he will feature. But other than that, everyone else is fit. Romania will be optimistic. It's their first match at a major tournament in 8 years, it's Euro 2016, but they have not now won a game in their last 4, having played out 2 uninspiring 0-0 draws in their pre-tournament friendlies, but they have kept 3 clean sheets in their last 5, so it could be quite a tight game in the first match in Group E. Ukraine bounced back from a 0-0 draw with Germany and a 3-1 loss to Poland with a 4-0 win over Moldova, as I said, in their final game before the tournament. In terms of the best bet, like you said, Matt, I am going to be back in Ukraine. I think Romania's main strength has been at the back. Like I said, they've got plenty of clean sheets under their bag recently. They conceded 5 goals during qualifying, a healthy return at the back, and they kept 6 clean sheets, as I said. But it has to be said they were in a weak qualifying group. Other than Switzerland, who I think impressed everyone with their start to the tournament on Saturday, they were in a group with the likes of Israel, Belarus, Kosovo, and Andorra. So I think you can say it's not the strongest of groups, and so that record should be taken with a pinch of salt. Ukraine, on the other hand, were in a quite strong group with England and Italy, of course, the 2 finalists from the last tournament in Euro 2020. And they come through the playoffs after finishing 3rd in that group, but were unfortunate due to a controversial decision against Italy not to come through the group. So I won't go into too much more detail as to them. If you want a full breakdown of the group and each team, you can check our other videos on the channel where we previewed each of the group stages. But yeah, like you said, I'm going to be back in Ukraine to come out on top with this one. But another a bet which caught my eye, I think, previewing this game, was looking at the Ukraine striker. Artem Dovbyk has been in great scoring form for club and country as of late. 25 goals, I think it was, for Girona last season as they finished 3rd in the Liga. And also he's got 3 in his last 5 for Ukraine. He comes in at 2-1, I think it is now, to score any time in this one. And I'd certainly be backing him. He already has a goal at a major tournament. I think he scored a late winner against Sweden in the knockout stages at Euro 2020 for Ukraine. And I think he's the obvious pick here. 2-1's great value for him to find the back of the net against Romania.
Yeah, Artem Dovbyk is shortening all the time as well, so I think he's got to go off quite a bit shorter as well. So if you are interested in taking that one, I was advised that it's going to be a popular pick there. But Ukraine to win 2 points would be the main bet there, as Brad suggests. Just shy of evens now. They're just touching 10 to 11 generally. Plenty of money coming for Ukraine and looking to make a winning start in Group E. The second game in Group E we'll move on to is Belgium, and they're taking on Slovakia. Belgium, traditionally one of the favourites among tournaments in recent years. They're a little bit weak in the betting this year, probably because of their shaky defence, which we touched on a lot in their team guide. But they play handbrake-off football under Domenico Tedesco. They have some fantastic attacking players, such as Romelu Lukaku, Kevin De Bruyne, Jeremy Doku. The list goes on. They will hope to all register their early goal involvements here. This looks like a nice start for them. Slovakia, to my eye, a well-organised side, Brad, but maybe lacking a little bit in sort of star quality.
Yeah, exactly. You've mentioned the good form of Belgium. They're unbeaten since the Qatar World Cup, and they've scored 5 goals without reply across their recent friendlies with Luxembourg and Montenegro. Not the strongest opponents, admittedly, but I think you touched on earlier in the video, Matt, they're hotly tipped to finish first in Group E. as they look to finally leave their mark on a major tournament. I think after it's fair to say a number of false dawns from their so-called golden generation. In terms of injuries, I think right back Thomas Meunier is out of a partial muscle tear sustained in the win over Luxembourg last weekend. Yuri Tillemans, Jan Vertonghen and Arthur Theate were all unused substitutes in that match, though, after previously missing out against Montenegro. So there's a chance that they will feature a number of defenders in there. I think Belgium's strength at the back has been questioned. I think we questioned that ourselves, Matt, and will be interesting to see exactly how they cope in this game. Slovakia are also picking up good wins in their warm-up matches, though, securing 4-0 wins over Wales, which was quite impressive. But they also beat San Marino, who are almost like the bashing boys in Europe, but nevertheless, they're in good form. They've got plenty of goals under their name. Striker Robert Bosnick netted his 7th goal in the Wales win as well for his country. I think he'll needs to be at his best if he is going to, or if Slovakia, are going to be at any chance of progressing. In terms of the best bets and the tips for this game, only 3 sides scored more than Belgium during qualifying. They scored 22 goals across their qualifying matches. And they also boast the highest scoring player throughout all of Euro 2024 qualifying in Romelu Lukaku, who scored on 14 separate occasions. He's also already scored 11 goals at a major tournament as well heading into this one. And I'm sure he'll be fancying his chances of securing the golden boot here. We did a video on that, which you can check out on the channel previewing that betting line. Slovakia, they've got an impressive defensive record, it has to be said. Conceding just 0.8 goals on average across their qualifying matches. But again, as said with Romania, they were in quite a weak qualifying group other than Portugal. I think if you look at the teams in Slovakia's group, it would have been a surprise if they hadn't emerged from there. As I mentioned, the strength of Belgium is going forward, and I expect them here to show that strength in that first game. My best bet for this one personally is Belgium to score 2.5 plus goals. I've mentioned that scored plenty of goals in qualifying. Lukaku, he's made habit of scoring at major tournaments, and for Belgium, their all-time leading goal scorer. And their strength at the back, like I said, can be questioned, but I don't think you can question how good they are going forward, and I expect them to show that in this first game against Slovakia.
Yeah, Belgium over 2.5 team goals coming in at a very generous 2-1. That could look a big price come 7 p.m. We all have covered about Belgium's array of attacking options. Romelu Lukaku was one of our selections in the top goal scorer market, as you mentioned, Brad. He was 18-1 at the time. He's going off more like 12-1, so there has been money for him as we anticipated. He gets accused of being a flat track bully, Lukaku, a little bit, scoring against the lesser teams, lesser nations, if you will, and struggling in the bigger games. But I think that's maybe a slightly harsh comment. But regardless of where you feel on that, he's going to have to score his goals in these kind of games if he is going to take the golden boot. So all eyes on Lukaku and Belgium this evening. That will be Group E's openers out of the way then, and we will finish today's footballing feast with Austria versus France. France, in the eyes of many, should be favourites outright for this tournament, and their joint favourites England got up to a solid, if a bit unspectacular, start against Serbia last night. France will want to lay a marker down. We did cover in our tournament preview that they can sometimes be slow starters at tournaments. They'll need to be on it from the start here against the really handy Austria outfit, won't they, Brad?
Absolutely, yeah. I think this is a really intriguing game. And before I talk through the best bet for this one, I think the fitness... we discussed, the fitness of the squad. David Alaba and Xaver Schlager, of course, are both out of the Austria squad. But they were never in contention, really, after picking up serious injuries. But the 26 players selected by Ralf Rangnick should be available at the time of recording anyway for their opener against France. And France themselves will be without Lucas Hernandez, who also picked up a serious anterior cruciate ligament injury back in May. So he's not part of the squad either, which will be a big hit to them. I'm sure, but again, if you look at that French squad, there's plenty of talent there. You have to look at their depth. It's envious. I think many countries will be envious of the options that Didier Deschamps has got at his disposal. Austria come into the match as one of the tournament's informed teams. They've lost just once in their last 16, winning 12 of those matches. They still come in as outsiders to secure a top 2 finish. In Group D, we saw the Netherlands get off to a positive start with a 2-1 win over Poland on Saturday. But if they were to pick up a win here, I'm sure their prospects will improve significantly, even if they can get a draw with the format of this tournament. Or a win against Poland will leave them with 4 points and almost certainly with a place in the last 16. As you mentioned there, France now, I think they've pushed up on the outright mark, haven't they, Matt? They're now joint favourites alongside England to claim their third European Championship title in Germany. And the positive form of Kylian Mbappe will, of course, be will they be buoyed by that. He's got 1 goal and 3 assists in his last 3 outings for France. I mentioned there the strength of Austria and the good form that they're in. They scored in every single match since September 2022, which actually was a 2-0 defeat to France, the last time that they failed to find the back of the net in the Nations League. And they've also bagged 5 in 4 matches in the last Euros 3 years ago. The volume of talent at Deschamps' disposal, as discussed, makes them clear favourites. And this one, I think you'd be kicking yourself if you weren't to back them and then they go out and get the win tonight. But they have managed just 3 clean sheets in the last 9 matches overall, and they're still keeping teams out at major tournaments. Across their 11 matches at the last Euros and the Qatar World Cup, they kept just 2 clean sheets. So you can probably guess where I'm going with this one. I'm going to be backing France to come out on top, but I will be expecting Austria to find the back of the net. France to win and both teams to score comes in at 9-4 generally across the board. And I think that's great value there, given everything that I've just discussed about the recent form and how these two sides have fared in their recent games.
Definitely. And a lot of talk about Austria in the build-up as a potential dark horse. And if they do suffer an early setback here, it won't necessarily be the end for them. They are in a tough group, but they should fancy their chances. You would think of giving Poland and the Netherlands some serious things to think about in games 2 and 3. So that is Brad's best bets. And we will just pull them up on the screen for you now, just so you can get a view of all of our selections for today's matches. That is Artem Dovbyk, anytime goal scorer, 1 point on that. The strongest bet is Ukraine to win against Romania, which has just been trimmed in a touch to 10-11. We've got Belgium to score over 2.5 goals at 2-1, and we've got France to win with both teams scoring against Austria at 5-2. So 4 selections for you there to get stuck into. Hope you're enjoying our daily previews of Euro 2024. Hopefully you can have some winners today as well. Looking forward to the action kicking off at 2 p.m. UK time. Keep it with the YouTube channel for our latest daily previews. We'll also be having a little look at the groups as they progress. So we'll probably have a little look after match day 1 concludes just to see the state of play, whether there's any teams we want to get onside in the to qualify markets. And we have loads of stuff going out on the Odds Now website as well. Just click the tips and insights section at the top of the page to check that out. Thanks for watching, and we'll hopefully see you again very soon.